when it changed was, I think it was Tim Beauchamp in the Florida State game in '98. Okay, Marcus Outson was the quarterback. We get to that game and something went on. Either one of them had food poisoning, one of them got hurt during the first series of the game. And Coach Spurrier comes to me, he's like, Alex, listen, this is what we need you to do. When you hear the call, right or left, I want you to go away from it. And all I want you to do is just rush the quarterback. Just go get the quarterback. All right, I can do that. So now you got Javon and myself on the field. That was the first time we were on the field at the same time. And because I was playing Sam linebacker up until then, that's where things changed. I got 2.5 sacks in that game, and things kind of changed for me there. Going into the offseason, into my sophomore year, that's when Coach Spurrier kind of came to me and made that suggestion that kind of, you going to do this, but I'm going to make it seem like you making the decision type deal, and said, hey, we want you to move to defensive end. Give you a little perspective on how my dad is. We called my pops because I didn't want to do it. I was going to transfer. I was like, no, nah, I'm done. I don't want to do this. Javon Curse is leaving early. This is my chance to start at Sam linebacker. So we called my dad, and my dad's like, you remember when Coach Spurrier was sitting at the dining room table and you told him you do whatever you can to help the team? I said, yes, sir. He hung the phone up. That gives you an idea of how my dad is. And from there, I looked at Coach Spurrier and I said, well, I guess I'm playing defensive end. So we kind of took off from there.
What is it like having 5 sacks and a pick in one game? Like, what is that feeling like?
Well, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that. Nothing like I've ever felt, and I didn't feel anything after that, honestly. But right after Coach Spurrier and I, after that phone call, Coach Spurrier turned to me and he said, Alex, there's 3 people in the NFL that get paid. He said the quarterback, of course. That's who gets paid because he's the face of the franchise. The guy that can protect the blind side of the quarterback and the guy that can go get the quarterback. Those are the 3 positions. Now, everybody get paid, but the guys that get that real money, when you really look at it, those are the guys that get paid that crazy money, right? The pass rushers, the guys that can protect the quarterback and your quarterback. So that was all he needed to say for me. And then it was like, all right, let's ride. So the Tennessee game come, but it's really interesting that the Tennessee game even happened. Because if you remember, Thaddeus Bullard, I'm competing with Thaddeus Bullard, a.k.a. Titus O'Neil right at this point. But I'm competing with him. And he gets Coach Spurrier's jersey. He get the number 11 jersey. So they unretire Coach Spurrier's jersey. First of all, they moved me to defensive end. Then the 2 guys I'm competing against, they unretire the old ball coach's jersey, give it to him. And I'm like, well, hell, I might be in trouble here, you know? Derek Chambers on the other side. Derek Chambers is 295, 300. He benched the weight room faster than an ox. I'm like, I can't do that with him. So it's Thaddeus and I. But I think in my mind, I'm thinking, well, Thaddeus got the inside track on this one. So first game, forget who we were playing. Coach Spurrier's like, listen, Thaddeus is going to start. I'm hot because I thought I should have started. But he's like, all right. I'm like, all right, let's go. And Thaddeus has a sack. I think I had a sack and a half. The next game, I started. And then I had 2 sacks. Thaddeus had, I don't think he had one. Or maybe he had a half a sack. So then I get to start. Whoever won that battle in those 2 games, they were going to get the opportunity to start in the Tennessee game, which was the 3rd game of the season. So that's where everything just kind of took off. And during the game, I look for stuff during the game. If you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. So I'm looking for little tips and little tidbits where I can take advantage of, right? So I find something, I come over and I tell it was either Dre, and then I told Coach, oh gosh, my D-line coach, I told him, I was like, listen, I think I see something. I'm gonna just go. So don't kill me if I jump off sides, right? And I didn't even make a play on it, but it was right. Like the timing was right. It was just a feel for how he was making the call, and it was loud in there. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. And I did. And things just kind of went. Now the first 2 sacks I think I got had nothing to do with this. It was just me rushing. All I knew was one thing, just get on the edge and run. The next three were like I had a little edge because they were tipping it a little bit, you know. So, but that game, I mean, I know everybody talks about that game and getting a pick and getting the 5 sacks is great, but I get pinholed into that game a lot. And what I tell people is that if you take away that game, erase that game from my career, I'm still the all-time sack guy in at Florida. You know, if you erase that game, so people act like it's just not you. I'm just saying like
Mhm.
when I'm talking about my career at Florida, people talk about it as if that was the game. Whereas if you took that game away, I'm still the all-time leading sack guy there. So it's just that game put me on the map, but it wasn't my career. You know what I mean?